everyone, my name is Tori, this is Novel Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am reacting to your favorite romances of 2022. So I just posted my reacting to your least favorite romances of 2022 on Monday, and I wanted to sit down and film this video as well. Of course, on Instagram, I always post things on Instagram. I want to use my community tab more, but Instagram for some reason is just like so much easier for me. I don't know, I'm very much active over there, so make sure you follow me over there. But I will say you guys came in hot with the least favorite romances. Like, I had so much fun. I just filmed it and my cheeks are like super sore. I just had the best time laughing about what your least favorite is. Now, a lot of people put a lot of favorite romances. I want to say I have like almost 50 or something like that. I don't know, probably not 50, but I have like 2 pages of notes right here on my iPad. So make sure you check out my video for Monday. I'll have it linked in the cards and the description box where I'm reacting to your least favorite romances of 2022. Some of you guys hurt my feelings. Not gonna lie with that one, but it's fine, we're still friends. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna be reacting to your favorite romance of 2022, and I will say, I agree and disagree with some of these, but we'll go ahead and jump in. So, the first one, Binding 13, I think it's by Chloe Walsh, which is interesting. I actually put this in a video coming next week of 23 books to read in 2023. I always do that. I did that the end of last year for 2022. I only got through half of those books, but I wanted to put books that I know I'm gonna want to read. So this is on there. I've heard mixed things about it. It's a thick book, but I'm interested in it. I just don't know. I literally don't know anything about it. I like to go into books blind like that, so found that one interesting. Someone put A Court of Mist and Fury, and in the parentheses, they put this was my first time reading it. And when I tell you, I think I've done a video where it's books I wish I could read for the first time again. If I could go back and reread the ACOTAR series, like the whole series back to back to back, like I did again, because I think, I read it in 2020. I read it in 2020. If I could go back and read it again for the first time, I would love to experience that for the first time. That is just a series that when you read it for the first time, I love talking to people who read it for the first time. And Akamath is just, that one and Wings and Ruin, they just both got me, man. They both got me and I loved it. So I'm so glad it's one of your top books of this year, because that was one of my top books of 2020. Someone said Luna and the Lie. This is another book that I have on my 23 books to read in 2023. I think this is, is it Cheyenne's favorite Mariana Zapata book? Or she said it's like one of her favorites that's like underrated. Now, I've read some of Mariana Zapata books and they're all pretty solid for me. Like, I do enjoy them. I don't think any of her books have made it to like my top whatever of whatever, but Luna and the Lie may be it. I have the audio for that. Someone said Flawless, and I agree. I think that this series by Elsie Silver is one of her best, and I cannot wait to see the 3rd book that's going to come out in 2023. I cannot wait, but I've said this before. I don't know what the fuck she puts in this series, in Flawless and Heartless. I don't know what the fuck she puts in it, but she puts like some voodoo shit, okay? I'll just say that. Someone said Penpal. Okay, so I am someone that with this book, it is not a romance. And not that I've argued with people, but Sam and I, for our cover to cover book club, we read Penpal for September, and so did McKay and Nikki, their book club, Out of Bounds. And we both had like a joint live show because we just so happened to pick it for the same month. And we talked about it a lot. And someone in the comments was like, yes, but who decides what a romance is? And we always say if it has an HEA. And some people will agree that this does have an HEA, and some people will disagree. I'm someone that I don't think this is a romance. I think it's a suspense. So, I mean, if it's one of your top books of 2022, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm so glad. But also, people put this book in their least favorite books of 2022. So it's interesting that it's so polarizing because of how it was marketed and how people either love or hate it. And there's no in between. So I find that interesting. Someone said Consider Me by Becca. Oh, who is it? Becca Mack? I think that's her name. I did read this book. Now, it's kind of my fault for reading this book when I was in a pretty deep reading slump. I was just having like 3.5 star reads, like for like a week or 2 straight. I was reading, but I wasn't reading books and like really enjoying them. It was after I read Heartless by Elsie Silver. I just got into this like, nothing's as good as Heartless, you know what I mean? And I read this book then. Now, I probably would rate it 4 stars, like a solid 4 stars. I'm glad it's one of your favorites. I know Cheyenne really loved this book. My thing with this one is it's supposed to be their like late 20s, but I feel like the way that they act like new adult age, some of the conversations that they have. So that was my one thing with it. It was too long, and the characters, I feel like, were aged up when they should have been aged down. Like, they should have been in college. It would have been a perfect book. Someone said Still Beating. 100% agree. This is going to be on my top 22 of 2022. I love this book. Love this book. Just a shout out to Jennifer Hartman. If you love Still Beating, go read The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman. That's one of my second favorite books by her. It is so good. It gives me very much the same vibes as Still Beating. Not the same content, though. But Still Beating is one that I think about Cora and Dean, like, all the time, their story. All Roads Lead Here. So I actually thought this book was okay. It's not my favorite. Like I said, Mariana Zapata has never been on, like, my top whatever. Like, I've enjoyed her books, and I recommend them. I just never have been, like, wowed out of the park. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this is someone's favorite. Someone said Heartless. I agree. This is going to be on my top 22 of 2022. Love it. Someone said Hidden Waters by Catherine Cowles. I love that Catherine Cowles is on here. The Tattered and Torn series, I will say, because I've read 3 books each of her previous series. I haven't finished the books in those series. I want to. That's a reading plan of 2023. But I will say Shattered Sea is my favorite. It's going to be on my top 22 of 2022. I love that book just because of the chronic pain rep. But a close second is Hidden Waters. That one and Fractured Sky. They're like tied for my second favorite spot. So, but I'm so glad that Catherine Cowles is on here. Someone said Juniper Hill. I agree. Juniper Hill is going to be on my top 22 of 2022. I love Daphne Perry. I love Knox and Memphis so much. Oh, I love them so much. That book was so good. Someone said The Bully by Sophie Lark. I did not like this book. I did not think that Dean's redemption arc was done well enough to where I think he's been redeemed. Now, I have heard that if you continue with the series and you see how far he's been redeemed, so fair enough, but it just in his story, I didn't. It's not my favorite by Sophie Lark. Someone said Before I Let Go. Now, I personally will argue that I don't think this is a true romance. I think it's more women's fiction. I mean, technically on the back of the book, it's labeled as women's fiction, not romance, if you didn't know that. But I agree, 5 stars. Before I Let Go is a really, really good book. I think it's going to be on my top 22 of 2022. I think I already have my list, and I think it's on there. Someone said Restore Me by J.L. Seeger. So this book I actually have on my 23 books to read in 2023 because I'm really excited. Every person that I know has read this has really enjoyed it. So that gives me high hopes that I'm going to like it. Another book is A Lady for a Duke. I know Crystal. She's one of the first people I saw read this book and loved it. I just have not been in a historical romance mood, and I don't want to read a historical romance and not like it because I'm just not in the mood for it. And that reflects in my rating, if that makes sense. Someone said The Parallel series by Elizabeth O'Rourke. I don't think that Parallel is going to be on my top 22 of 2022, but it's a solid book that I highly recommend. Someone said Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which is actually surprising because I give that book 4.5 stars. Even though I haven't been vibing with traditionally published romances, I'm actually surprised that's on there. Someone said The Brawl by Will and Ash. Love that book. I will say my favorite in that series is The Brazen. That's just a personal thing because Pierce Sullivan is a billionaire and I love him. Someone said Magnolia Parks. Yes, you know what's up. Yeah. Oh my God. Magnolia Parks. That's going to be on my top 22 of 2020. Someone said The Addicted series. Okay. Listen, are we talking about the Addicted series as a whole, as in all 10 books, or are we talking about the Addicted series, just Lily and Lo's story? Because if it's just Lily and Lo's story, I disagree with you. I hated Lily and Lo. I hated their story. I hated that it was 5 books. I hate it. Now, Calloway sisters, Rose and Connor, absolutely love them. My favorite is Reich and Daisy, just because I love the age gap forbiddenness, but like those 2 couples are superior to Lily and Lo, and I will die on that hill. Someone said the Plated Prisoner series. I actually tried to read Guild. Was it the end of last year? I just didn't like the writing style at the beginning. I want to go back and reread it because I know Jess loved it when she read the first book. I know Sam loved it. She's a couple books in, I think. So that's another book that's like on my radar for 2022. Someone said the Sainthood Boys. I think this is by Siobhan Davis. I think that's how you say their name. I don't think I've read anything by them. If I have, it's been a very long time. But I don't know, maybe if you want me to check out this author, let me know. I might try it. Someone said the Wolf Hotel series. So my friends and I, we did a read-along for the Wolf Hotel series, and I will say, as a whole, I enjoyed it. As a whole series, I get why people love it. Individually, though, They were hard to get through. Like, if I read them back to back to back, I was totally fine. But like breaking them up the way they did, I felt a little bored with the first couple books. But I did like the story overall. So I'm glad it's on your top 22 of 2022. Someone said Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. I actually read this book years ago, and I rediscovered it this year when I met Lucia Franco at a book signing, and I bought it and I reread it, and I love it. I love this book. I love the friend aspect. I love the taboo aspect. I just loved it so much. Someone said Mr. Masters by T.L. Swan. Haven't read this one, so I can't really say anything. I have A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman. I love Kate Bateman. I think I read this one this year, and it's not my favorite by her. Someone said Everything for You by Chloe Lees. That makes me happy that Chloe Lees is one of your favorites of this year because I love that one. Then Came You by Lisa Kleypas. This is not my favorite Lisa Kleypas, but I'm glad Lisa Kleypas is on your top 22 of 2022. Someone said Manacled. I don't know who the author is. I didn't write it down, but that is the fanfic that I know a lot of people have been reading and loving. I just am not someone who enjoys fanfic. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter in that way. I watch the movies, but I'm not a huge fan, so I don't get it. Plus, it's like 1,000 pages, so yeah, that's a lot. Someone said The Words. I'm so happy The Words is on your list. I love The Words. I read it and cried 3 times. It is such a good book. It's long, but I promise you it's worth it. Someone said A Dowry of Blood. So this one is it's not a romance. So it's funny that someone put this in there. It's a very unique book, I will say that, but it's not a romance, but it is really good. Someone said Even If It Hurts. Glad you loved it as much as I did, because it's going to be on my top 22 of 2022. Dare. Chase Darrington could fucking get it, man. He could get it. Someone said Carnal Urges. I'm glad JT Geisinger is on your favorite books of this year. I enjoyed their books. They're solid. Not my favorite, not my least favorite, but I recommend them. Someone said Dead Man Walking. I love that Gianna Darling is on there. Gianna had she had a book release this year? Yeah, she had the Beautiful Nightmare series. What is it called? Dangerous Temptation, Beautiful Nightmare. It's that series. Someone said Hazed by Candy Steiner. I know this is part of the PSU series. I've read first 4 or 5 books in this series, and it's my goal in 2023 to get caught up with Candy Steiner's backlist. Someone said Midnight Revenge by Elle Kennedy. I don't know what this book is. I've never heard of this book by Elle Kennedy. Someone said Untouchable by Sam Mariano. Now, if I read Untouchable first and then Even If It Hurts, I would probably say that both of those would be on my top 22 of 2022. But because I read Even If It Hurts first and then Untouchable, I loved Even If It Hurts way more because we got the main male character, Dare, his point of view. In Untouchable, we don't really get his point of view, which that's the main difference and why I didn't give it 5 stars. But I gave it 4.5. Pretty damn close. The Ravenhood Trilogy by Kate Stewart. This one broke my heart. This trilogy is a emotional one. I think it was on my top books of last year. Den of Vipers. Really? That's a top book for you? I'm not a big Why Choose person, so maybe that's why. I also haven't read it. So someone said House of Sky and Breath, which I find funny because someone put this in their least favorite, like in my comment box, and it's in my least favorite. It's in the video for Monday, so it's in my video of reacting to your least favorite, which is funny because, like I said, there are some in the favorites that are on the least favorites and vice versa, which I find hilarious. But I love Husky and Breath. That ending, holy shit. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what she does with that. Someone said Sicko by Alma Jones. I read Sicko. I gave it 3 stars. I did not like this one, but I'm glad you enjoyed it enough to put it on your top books. Madison Kate by Tate James. I think this is a Why Choose romance too. They're not my favorite, so I just don't want to pick them up. Like, I don't have the desire to pick them up. Hannaford Prep by Jay Bree. I've read the Broken Bonds series. Well, I've read the first 2 books in the Broken Bonds series, and I did not like them that much. So I don't know if Jay Bree's for me. I don't know. Someone said the Off Balance series, and I do know a lot of people read this year, and it broke their hearts. It was extremely emotional, which, I mean, good for you. You enjoyed it. I do plan to read this in 2023. This is going to be a tough one for me because I read the first book and I hated it years ago. Honestly, I hated it because it was just too taboo for me. But I think I'm in my taboo prime right now and I'm ready for that. So I'm interested. Someone said the Grip Trilogy. I'm so glad Kennedy Ryan's on your top list because I loved this trilogy when I read it last year. Someone said The Spy by Sophie Lark, which I do know there was like a mystery of who was the spy. So I don't know if that's why you loved it. I haven't continued on with that series. Someone said A Place Without You by Julie Ann. I think that's Julie Ann. I haven't read this one, but Julie Ann makes me cry. I read For Lucy and I was like tearing up over that book. Someone said June 1st by Jennifer Hartman. I'm so glad you love this book. This is, I feel like it is her longest book, and I feel like it's not as appreciated as like Still Beating. But I did enjoy it. It's very, very emotional. It's different than, you know, her other stuff. Someone said Riven Knight by Daphne Perry. This one was okay. This series we read for a read along, and it was solid. It was a good solid. It opened up my eyes to Daphne Perry, but I will say her Eden series is my favorite. Someone said Mercy by Sarah Kate. I'm glad that Mercy's on your list. Praise is my favorite from that series. Someone said The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. We love Taboo. We love Steamy. Someone said When Gracie Met the Grump by Mariana Zapata. This was her release this year, and I haven't read this one. The whole superhero thing is confusing to me. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. I don't know how I feel. Someone said Blindside by Candy Steiner. I love this book. Clay and Gianna are just perfection. Clay is perfection. Don't get it twisted. Clay is perfection. Someone said When Life Happened. I don't know this book. And then the last one I have is Give Me More by Sarah Kate, which is actually so funny that so many people have like every other book in this series. Okay, so Give Me More was on the least favorite, but on my favorites, it's Give Me More and Mercy. But for me, Praise is still my favorite one out of that series. I love Emerson so fucking much. I think he is amazing, and I think he's so underrated. But those are all of the books that you guys gave me that you guys said that was your favorite books of 2022. It was fun reacting. My cheeks hurt because I'm like smiling so much. But thank you so much for watching. Drop me a whatever color heart emoji. Give me all the love and like everything. Give me all the hearts. Give me everything. Doesn't matter which color. Doesn't matter which kind. Give me a heart. Drop me a heart because I love hearts. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I have a lot of content coming for the end of December that I'm really excited about. So make sure you stick around and you subscribe for more content for me. I hope you're living a novel life and reading all the books in the entire world. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.